Hello, I'm here, a bit early as usual, and I'm having an eye on the chat. So, whatever platform you're on, shoot. I'll answer questions till Leo arrives. And we're also collecting questions. Let me check. Yeah, we're collecting questions for the end of the episode. So, yeah, for the Q&A segment. So, let me check. Yes. So, Anthony, if you want to put the lower third on with the photo time question thing. Oh, no. Oh, it's there. It's been here all along. The little ticker there. Let's see who's there. Pan-Galactic Gargle Blaster. Hi. Tough Guy Walkman. Byte for byte. So yeah, down in the ticker you can see the URL tfttf.com/ptq for photo time questions. If you have any questions to me, to Leo, regarding photography, that's the place to put it. And I will have the list of questions open here. Hopefully, seeing some jerky motion here. That is Safari being Safari.
Oh, you're using Safari. Yeah, like
yeah. Well, I'm streaming in a Chromium-based browser.
Okay.
But the whole Airtable thing. I have to open this in Brave as well. Let me open that here. Here it is. And here's the questions. Oh, so much faster. Safari's just sometimes being weird. So, let's see who's here. Say hi in the chat. Hello. Yeah, I've been.
I see someone typing. Oh, there we go.
Yeah. Yeah, I've been gone for a couple of weeks on my Eastern European photo road trip. So I came back today preparing this one and going, oops, I didn't really have any latest news. So, but I found a few interesting things. Let's see. Chocolate milk mini sip. People recommend to use a ND filter on SLR camera lens, but so far as I know, most phones don't have them. Do the phones have effective software processing equivalent? What do people recommend the ND filters for? Because one of the most important two reasons you might want to use an ND filter is, first of all, if you want a longer exposure in bright light. Let's say the sun is out and you still want to expose for half a second, because, I don't know, you want some waterfall to look nice, blurred. And for that, you don't really need an ND filter on most smartphones these days. The iPhone has a long exposure function. I'll actually show you. If you take a photo of something that's moving, let me move something here, my hand in front of the thing. Not sure I can really show you that well. In here, okay, the focus is going to be totally off. Up here on the right, where if you shoot live photo, and then up here you have a menu that will give you different options, and one of them is long exposure, and the long exposure will do some math on the live photo and give you, in this case, a blurred hand. But if you take a picture of moving water, then that will quite convincingly simulate an ND filter for a moving thing. The second reason for an ND filter is is to allow you to shoot with a wider open aperture when it's bright. So in sunlight, what typically happens with your camera is the ISO goes all the way down because there's so much light. The shutter speed gets short and the aperture goes small, which means a lot will be in focus. But if you want shallow depth of field, if you want a portrait with a out of focus background, with a blurry background, then that's what you would use an ND filter for if your lens would have an aperture. But the aperture in a smartphone, often there is none. So that's what portrait mode is for. It artificially creates a blurry background. So ND filters on a smartphone don't make sense. On an SLR, they do make sense, especially for making the aperture wider in bright light conditions or for having a longer shutter speed. That's the two reasons. Anything else? Not a real need for an ND filter. So just putting one on because someone said to put one on won't really bring you anything or do anything for you. So, yeah, Eric, live photo gives you a few interesting features, like you can choose which, well, if you didn't hit the timing just right, you can go backwards and forwards and choose a different part of this, 2-second, 3-second exposure video that you get with live mode. You get all these features like looping something or bouncing motion or doing the long exposure. And with the latest iOS, you'll also get different processing on the images, which means you have the color modes, the different color profiles that you don't have if you switch it off. So, hello.
Hi. Have you been
New
answering
glasses.
questions in here?
Yeah, I'm
Good man.
better do something.
Yeah, why not, right? Keep
Warming up the crowd.
keep the crowd warmed up. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Very well. Very well. Although we had to, Anthony, we had to put Samantha down today.
Oh no.
no.
Oh my God.
She wasn't doing too well.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah. She had something called drop hawk, which is when they start walking on their, instead of walking upright, they start walking on their back legs like that. Their ankle drops. And it was getting worse. And then this morning, she both legs. And so we found a very nice traveling vet who comes to your house. She was great. So she came over and helped us. It was sad. It was a teary
sorry
time.
to hear that.
Poor Lisa. She's very. It's you met her. You met Samantha, Chris. She's the one with the little Hitler mustache.
Oh, right.
She's a sweetie.
Yeah,
She's
we
a
lost
sweetie.
2 cats over the years.
Yeah, well, this is the second one. They were sisters, and Paris was last year. She had feline leukemia, apparently from birth, and she was just getting worse and worse. And then, and what's good about Lisa, she's a good cat mom. She doesn't want them to suffer any longer than they. If they're suffering, they don't know why.
Ours were brother and sister.
Yeah, same thing, sisters. Yeah. All right, I have your notes. Let me click all these silly links. Working on the Black Forest Alsace. How fun. That's going to be a good one.
It will be there. It's not on the website yet, but it will come up.
Good.
Last week of November, as it looks right now. Also finished the Eastern European photo road trip.
Oh, yeah.
Just
How'd that
days
go?
ago. It went well. It went good.
Good.
Yeah, we hit all the targets. We saw a lot of things. We had fun,
Good.
and did photography.
Excellent. Okay, now I'm going to add photo news. Video by Hank Green. New color. Inside the cage of a zoom lens. And, I don't need that Airtable length. You can, unless you want me to ask the questions.
No, you can. You can look at the questions if you want to. They're in
I
there.
don't need to. Yeah.
And we have a few already.
Put that away. Okay. I am ready. It is a little after 1. Are you all ready in the chat room? Y'all ready for this? Thank you for being here, Anthony Nielsen.
Yep.
Should I leave the chat up? I'll tell
mean,
you
you
what,
could-
I'll pull stuff in as
As they come in.
as I see them. Are we not in the podcast and talk shows category? We're probably at the technology category, right?
What's going on? What are you talking about?
Somebody's saying
Twitch.
It'd be good to be in the podcast and talk shows. Maybe
On Twitch, I
Blaze.
have it set to chat and interview.
Chat and interview. Maybe
Oh,
the
the
podcast and
I
talk
see.
shows.
Is that
That,
new?
that might be closer.
So someone asked me on our show a couple of weeks ago about that, and I wasn't really sure. So I'll have
That's
to look
why.
into that as well.
And let me look at the captions. What happened to the captions? Did you turn them
All
off
right.
or did I?
I changed the category in Twitch.
Thank you. See? Instant Maple Glades, instant response. Look at that. All right. I'm ready. If you're ready.
I am.
All right. Hello, everybody. I don't know what it's like. And now we begin. Hello. It is time for our regular monthly photo time with Chris Marquardt, my favorite photographer. I shouldn't say that because I have so many favorite photographers. One of my favorite photographers. One I have known longer than almost anybody else. He is at discoverthetopfloor.com. You just completed your Eastern European tour, huh?
I did. I just returned a couple of days ago, and it was fun.
Nice.
We drove all the way from Berlin to Transylvania
Wow.
in an electric vehicle. So
Wow.
that went well. And
Any funny
good.
looks because you were driving a Tesla? Did you get any funny looks?
no, and of course I have like the stickers on it and the bumper stickers and stuff. So
Oh.
I'm expressing my
You have bumper
my-
stickers that say, "I don't know this Elon guy."
Yeah, sort of.
He's not
So-
with a certain crowd in Germany. He's not very popular because he kind of weighed in on the German elections and made a few enemies there. But that's
Yes.
neither here nor there. When it comes to photography, it's an ecumenical world.
It got us from A to B to C to D
Yeah.
to E to F to all the different places.
That's all that matters.
And so we were in Berlin, Dresden, in Prague, in Vienna, in Budapest, and
How fun.
in a few different places in Romania. in
Now you've got a new
Transylvania.
one you're working on. It's not yet on the website, but you can get a preview here. You're going to do the Christmas markets in Alsace.
Yes. So that was a thought that was in my mind for quite a long time, because it is kind of the backyard from where I grew up. I grew up near the Black Forest, so the Alsace and Black Forest Christmas markets with the cobbled streets and the timber framed houses and the areas like Freiburg, Strasbourg, Colmar, very very picturesque places, and the last week of November will be ideal to do that. So that's the plan. Working on that, and it should be on the website within
wait.
a few weeks. So,
Can't wait.
and it's going to be the same kind of thing: small tour, one car, 3 people who can come, and about 1 week long.
Fun. I've been to the Christmas markets in Germany. They're something to behold. They're really amazing. We should mention that if you want to ask Chris a question, this is the monthly opportunity to do that. you could send your questions to tfttf.com/PTQ. That stands for Photo Time Questions. He's a good German. He's getting it as short as possible, as many words in one word as possible. tfttf.com.
You know why it's so short? Because
Why?
people type that with their thumbs on a small piece of glass.
That's a good point. You're right.
That's why. So yeah, it'll work. We do already have a few questions in there for today.
Good.
So
You were
we'll be
answering
fine.
questions. I should mention, Chris likes to come in a little early, and so if you come in early, we do these once a month. We'll set up the date for the next one at the end of the show. But if you get in here a little early, you can ask questions in the chat room directly. We have a very large chat room. The topic of this month's assignment was very timely because we had you didn't plan it that way. It's just what came out of the bowl, the fish bowl. But we had Easter, we had Passover, and we had, most importantly, Butter and Eggs Day in Petaluma.
Totally. That's exactly why that came out. What the heck is Butter Eggs Day?
It's our big parade. You know, I stopped going to it. It used to be a great thing for photography, but I stopped going to it because it got discovered and you can't move. And it's kind of hard to do photography if you're like this, if you're jammed in all the time. So it's a great place to take pictures, though, I have to say. And I just didn't this year. I avoided it.
Is that in Petaluma or in other places?
It's in Petaluma. We are
just
famous
in
as the
Petaluma.
butter and eggs capital. Well, I like to think of the world, but I'm sure you can get your butter and eggs somewhere. So, besides California, so, but certainly of the West Coast, and for many years it was very well known for its chicken farms. And we still celebrate the agricultural heritage of Petaluma with this yearly parade, and it's so much fun. It's a small town. It's only about 60,000. So pretty much everybody's in the parade. The way they work that, though, is actually, this isn't true anymore now that everybody comes, but in the old days when it was just us, you'd join the parade, you'd march around, and then you'd sit down and watch the rest of the people march around. So everybody got to be both a participant and a spectator. It's a little different nowadays.
I think I remember you shared photos about this.
Yeah,
once.
it was always you get the cutest little chicken town contest. You get the cow chip throwing contest. It's an agricultural.
Sounds cool.
Something.
Sounds cool.
Now, I didn't take any pictures. The other reason I don't take any pictures is I don't want to show any favoritism. So you get to pick the people you like the best from our fabulous pool, and we have a number of pictures. Thank you, everybody. It's more than one page, so that's a good sign. We get more pictures today than usual.
Yes.
In fact, I'll show you the sum total in the Tech Guy group. These are the seasonal ones, yeah? I think so, yes. Look at all of them. So thank you to everybody who submitted. But Chris has gone through them, and he's picked 3 that he thinks are interesting and he wants to talk about, right?
Yes, that's what I've done. And we have, 3 pictures that are, that caught my interest and that I found interesting. Wasn't an easy choice. Also for seasonal, we get a lot of flower pictures. So I chose a few different ones just to be slightly different. So the first one is by Jane McFarland with the beautiful title IMG_1035.
Oh, my favorite title. I love that. My favorite title.
So what we're looking at is sunset on the beach, but without the sun. So what you see is the reflections of the sun in the sea, and the camera has decided to darken it down a bit because it's so bright on the water, and that turns the people on the beach into silhouettes, which I really like. And also very reduced color palette. There's like it's almost monochrome. It isn't, but it's almost monochrome. That's what can happen in these light situations. So it simplifies the picture. It takes a lot of distractions out with not having too much color in it. The only thing that kind of
I know what you're going to say. I know what you're going to say.
So if you take a picture, you want to it's helpful if you tidy it up. And one way to tidy it up is to have things parallel in parallel lines. So we're looking at a parallel edge of the beach that is parallel to the bottom frame of the
Yeah,
picture.
see, the beach looks straight.
But then the horizon kind of
It's not.
tilts. So,
But the Earth is curved. I mean, it's probably accurate.
It could be curvature of the Earth,
I don't
right?
know why it's.
No, it's not.
I get this all
no.
the time where I can't get straight lines because if I straighten the horizon, then you see the beach would have been tilted up.
That's true, but that's what happens when you shoot something from the side. It tends to tilt. So in this type of a picture, the water line, the horizon, is the one that should be horizontal. That's why it's called the horizon, and it especially with water, with bodies of water, it really we know they are horizontal. We grow up with that. That's so deep ingrained in us that we will even notice like half a degree off. So, but that's an easy thing to do in every kind of software, even in your phone, straightening that simple thing. But you know why that happens? Because all our attention is on the silhouettes of the people.
Right.
People are much stronger in a photo than anything else. So it's very easy to kind of not get that right. And it's not that big of a problem.
No.
If what's in the photo, I know. If my mother, this is my go-to example. My mother got a picture of her grandkids from my sister, and the photos were like printed out on a desktop printer, on an office printer, really low contrast. And me as a photographer, I was like, oh my God, look at how bad this looks. No contrast and bad resolution and so on.
All washed out. Yeah.
It's the best photo. My mom loves it. She hung it up on the wall because it's her grandkids in it.
Right.
So
it's the people.
content trumps everything. So,
but it's nice if you can get all the pieces together.
Of course.
Yeah.
But for most people, that is not that important. So, second image by Tony G.
Tony G.
Titled Gray Field. And
you'll see why.
I like this. Okay, so what we're looking at is a picture of a curb. So Tony went really low with his camera, probably kneeled down there, and it's concrete. It's the road.
I love this.
And in the foreground, there's this little plant sprouting from the cracks.
Oh,
and
so great.
It's nature's healing. Nature's coming back. It's a night photo, which makes it interesting because the background is dark and the foreground is lit by streetlights. But it doesn't immediately register that it's a night photo, because it would have, let's say, 20 years ago, would probably have registered right away, because our streetlights were different back then. We had like sodium streetlights with yellow light or magnesium pressure lamps with greenish light. No, this is full color. So streetlights have been swapped out for LEDs in lots of places. And the old, very colorful, very interesting night shots look different now. So kids are growing up with a different night in cities than we have.
You know what else? There's a couple other things I like about this. The weed is not centered. The weed is in the left third, which is you know, artistically very nice. And I love it that Tony got down low. Something I always
the
forget
perspective
to do.
is amazing.
Yeah.
And also, this photo has a foreground. A good foreground in a photo is worth a lot.
Yeah.
And by just going close, he created a foreground in the picture.
Yeah.
Good job.
Really nice. Love it. And
All right.
and it shows the photographer's eye, because you probably walked by a scene just like this 100 times. But he said, there's something there. I like it. Very
Also,
nice.
let me check on the camera. No, it doesn't have any EXIF data. This is a photo that's easy to take with a smartphone these days because many of them have a macro mode, so they will be able to focus close
Yeah.
to these kind of things. So yeah, good one, Tony. And then last but not least, Larry Albower, picture title Sailing.
And underneath ICM, because he didn't want you to think he did it by accident.
So ICM stands for Intentional Camera Movement. The things you get when you move the camera while shooting, deliberately move it, and create some blurriness, some motion blur. Camera tossing falls under ICM. I have plenty of UCM photos where they're unintentional, but then sometimes I pick one out because I like it. That just happens. This one apparently was intentional, and what we're seeing is a sailing boat on the sea with some waves and some background, and everything is in motion. And the way Larry did that is he moved it so it supports the motion of the ship. Right, it goes in the direction of the ship moving. It gives it some speed. It also turns the picture into a bit more of a painting, I would say.
Yeah, this is abstract almost. It's great.
It makes it more abstract. It takes the details out. This could be a painting.
Could be an Andrew Wyeth painting. Or it's just
maybe
great. Yeah.
Maybe painters could use ICM photos as like templates to work from.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Love it.
Good job, good idea, and good execution.
3 excellent shots. Thank you to all the submissions. Really nice stuff. I have to find out now because Out of Sync in our chat room is saying if you go to google.com and search Dutch angle, somebody had mentioned that first photo, there was a Dutch angle in the photo in the sea.
You know where the word Dutch angle comes from?
No.
It comes from the early German cinema, where they started to go weird in some ways, including tilting the camera.
Right.
So it was a Deutsch angle.
Oh, it's a Deutsch angle.
And Dutch angle is a mistranslation.
Isn't that funny? It's not a Dutch angle. So let me just do this
German
search.
angle.
I don't know if something strange is going to happen. Yeah. The search results are slightly tilted. But it's Google, a Deutsch angle, not a Dutch angle. That's a very nice piece of trivia there. Isn't it making you queasy looking at this Google page with its?
I want to tilt my monitor
it's
now.
So funny.
Slightly.
You see, I mean, it's a good illustration of why it's like a flat note on the keyboard. It's intentionally building tension. It's like
so the Dutch angle. To make it effective, you have to go beyond a certain angle. If it's just a tiny little bit of an angle, it looks very like
then it's
accidental.
Just a mistake. Yeah,
and like tilt it properly so that everyone who
lean
looks at the
into
photo
it,
knows you meant it. Yes.
Well, thank you to everybody. So many great images, and there were 31 of them this month, which is wonderful. And you can see all the other ones, not the rejects, just all the other ones that are all fantastic. If you go to Flickr.com and you join or visit the Tech Guy group, that's the group that we're in here, and it's a nice little group, and it's where you will be submitting your new photos. But look at all these great pictures from everybody.
There's
Kevin.
so much good stuff there.
We even had some Demi Lenti. We had
Yes.
Ryan and Sir something, I don't know. Sir Von Rohr. Josh, everybody. Thank you, everybody. Very nice. Mating season. Number of people mating in this one. Well, it is the lusty month of May. Let's not forget. Very nice. Hey, thank you, everybody. This is this makes it fun when we get lots of submissions and lots of people participating. And of course, go and visit and comment and praise the other people whose photos were in there as well. It's really good. Now, you know what this means, though? Yeah, time for the big old fish
bowl. Time to draw another word from the fishbowl. We need a jingle or something for this.
It's time for I'll write us a jingle. I'll get Suna to do it. Oh,
here we go.
In big letters, he's got a big adjective.
Drum roll. Ta-da!
Geometric. Oh, speaking of Dutch angles, very nice.
Yeah, I'm holding it at an angle. So.
Geometric. So you know how this all works by now, I'm sure. Take a picture, an image illustrating the concept, the word, whatever geometric says to you. And as you can see, it's pretty lenient in terms of its interpretation. And if you find an image you like, you can submit it to our Flickr group, FLICKR.com. It's free to join Flickr. It's a great photo sharing site. And we've had this tech guy group forever and a day. I mean, this is incredible. Let's just go to the group and you can see.
This is by far the biggest group I'm part of.
It's amazing. There are 14,000 members, almost 8,000 photographs, and of course the wonderful moderator Renee Silverman, who does such a good job, will accept your photo. You can submit up to one a week for the next 4 weeks, so up to 4 photos illustrating the word or concept, geometric. Do us a favor, though, when you upload it to Flickr, tag it TG for Tech Guy, geometric. One word, TG geometric. That way Chris and Renee will know it's for that month's assignment. And we can take a look at them, and we'll talk about them in a month. Renee does a lot of stuff in there, including some stuff in between times, and there's great discussions going on there. I highly recommend if you're not yet a member of Flickr, join Flickr, and then join the Tech Guy group. We've been doing this since 2007. That's a long darn time.
That's a long time.
Long darn time. Almost as old as YouTube.
I feel old.
Well, thank you. Those are some wonderful pictures. Really appreciate it. The other thing we like to do, Chris likes to do in our photo time, is take a look at the photography news.
Yeah, I only picked 3 today because during the Eastern European trip, I didn't have much time to check for the news. So
you were kind of busy.
But I found 2 and one with a bit of food for thought. First one is the ELT, the Extremely Large Telescope in Chile, is now had a milestone in its construction. They now have the dome on it, which is kind of a very important point in time, and they they celebrated that, and an engineer of the European Southern Observatory named Eduardo Garces or something along those lines took photos of the construction back in 2023 and then again on April the 12th, 2025. And it's not just a photo of the construction, it's 2 very spectacular photos because he went to a spot 14 miles away.
What?
From that, 23 kilometers, and used a very long lens to photograph a silhouette of the construction on the top of that mountain with the sun rising behind it.
Holy cow.
And that is just amazing. There's even a short video on that page that shows you the...
You need a photographer's ephemeris to know exactly.
Go further down. There's another video down there.
We talked last month about this amazing telescope. Here we go.
Yes, the Rise and Shine video. It's just a short time lapse of the sun rising behind the construction.
If you're going to go all the way out there, you might as well bring a few different cameras. Wow.
I mean, it really takes a lot of... Well, first of all, it takes a long focal length to get the sun so big behind something as big as the Extremely Large Telescope building.
Wow.
And it also takes all good planning, right? You need to know where to be at what point in time to catch the exact spot, and it's really spot on.
That's so cool. Yeah, that's the photographer's ephemeris that you've mentioned in the past that you'd need for that to make sure that you can.
And we're talking about the ELT will become the world's largest telescope with a mirror with 128 feet diameter. Wow. And I think it costs like 1.4 billion.
Is it a true image telescope, or is it doing something else?
No, it's a telescope to watch.
You'll
for
see
things
pictures. Because sometimes they do radio telescopes.
No, this is an optical telescope.
This is
an optical telescope. I'm pretty sure they will use different filters for wavelengths and so on, different camera sensors in there. It's expected to start delivering things in 2028. So
nice. We get some good images.
And,
although there's nothing like the space
of
telescopes. Those things are amazing.
Yeah, but can you get amazing pictures off the telescope out there? Pretty
maybe not.
Not easy, right?
Yeah. Good. We'll keep an eye on the ELT. What a great shot.
ELT. I mean, they are very inventive.
How long a lens that was?
That one I think was a 600 millimeters or something.
That's
so
not
it
that
wasn't
bad.
super long, and it might have been a crop for the video.
14 kilometers away.
Miles.
14
miles. 23 kilometers. In the article, it somewhere says that it was a 600 millimeter lens. But a camera with a very high resolution, so there's
so you could
plenty
crop
of space to crop.
Yeah, it looks like it might be cropped. Yeah. Cool. What else is going on? I see Hank Green here for some reason.
Yeah, the second thing, I came across a video by Hank Green recently that made me think about are we losing our ability to determine if something in video is real or not?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course we are. And he brings up a good example, which is you might have seen the video of Deep Blue Aerospace, the Chinese rocket landing that exploded. And it was shot in a very cinematic way with the drone circling around it. And it looked very like... It looked almost as if it was fake.
Yeah.
But it wasn't.
Was it real?
And... it was real, and people commented a lot. Wherever this was posted, a lot of people commented it's fake. But he did the exercise to determine if it's really there by looking at other sources and other angles, and he found other recordings from land, from different spots, which kind of shows you, oh, look at that. It was an actual real thing.
Okay.
So he talks a bit about like the importance of reliable references, of what things you might be able to do, because the photo, not too long ago, the photo used to be the shortcut to truth. If you had a photo of something,
pictures,
it was very likely that it
happen.
happened.
Yeah, pictures or it
Exactly.
didn't happen is the old saying. Yeah.
And that shortcut is going away. And also our let's say AI detection senses are not really that reliable anymore. It doesn't really work to count fingers now. It used to work not too long ago, but now the AI knows how many fingers people have and how they work most of the time. So it really comes down to the question, what do we need to reestablish that trust in something like photography?
We've talked about
We did. We talked about content credentials.
Yeah.
That's one thing. But the other thing is, of course, the things that we already have or had, and those are the different institutions, the press and so on, or other institutions. So there is no answer to this, but it's I liked the way he thought about this and framed this whole discussion. And it made me think, and it should probably make everyone think a bit about where we're going here.
How did they do the drone shot though of that thing? Did they have a drone up there?
No, Deep Blue Aerospace. If you Google that, rocket landing, explosion, something, you can see the video, and it's an FPV drone, and a very
So they did
skilled
have a
drone
drone.
photographer.
Oh.
And that drone was really close. And it looks, the thing is, it looks cinematic.
Right. And that's why people said, "Oh, it can't be real."
It looks cinematic. Also, it's shot with a higher frame rate because it's easy to do that now. And then if you play it down slower, that's the video. If you
Yeah.
play it down slower, then it will look like an artificial slow-mo of sorts.
It looks like it's
very clean.
It's straight out of. Here, I'll turn the sound off. But it looks like it's straight out of Star Wars.
It looks like a video game.
Yeah, that's right.
And that rocket, then they turned off the see how the
and then
the
they did it in
things come
slow
flying.
motion. See, doing it in slow motion makes it cinematic, more cinematic, right?
And it triggers a lot of like alarm bells in people's minds, you know,
Right.
like it
Right.
looks like it's produced.
Yeah,
It
it
looks
looks
like
simulated.
it's artificial.
Yeah. And here's
The longer version of it.
Yeah. Wow. That totally looks fake. I would have sworn that was faked.
Now, one interesting point here is if you see the buildings dipping out and back into the video,
Yeah.
that's not an AI production because those buildings stay where they are. They look exactly the same, and AI cannot do this at this point. So
At this point, yeah.
that's like the number of fingers.
Is that looks like
being
a
weird.
360 or what do you call it? Yeah, 360 camera, but reframed. Because like
Probably.
Yeah, that's what my my friend. In fact, as soon as you mentioned this, I got my I got my new Insta 360 out.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony was the one who introduced me to that. Was Anthony Nielsen, our great creative director, because we did a commercial where I thought it was like there was a drone, but what he did was he had the 360 on a really really long tripod, and it does end up looking just like a drone shot. It's
in
kind
case of that
remarkable.
rocket, you'll still have to move it around the rocket, though. So there is
I don't know. They must
definitely a
have been
very
drone
skilled
and
drone pilot
a
there.
360 and
yeah.
many cameras probably stitched
Yeah.
together. But it does have that effect. This is the
Totally
new
does.
X5 that just came out, and Anthony was very interested in it, and I said, I would let you know, Anthony, the image quality is much better. They have really improved it. Yeah.
Definitely looks like that.
It's really incredible. Yeah. Very happy. I have, if I can find it, I will show you some video. I can't remember where I put it. That's the only problem with 360-degree cameras. It takes, they're not that useful really because you can't put it in a photo album. You can't put it even on a web page.
Well, they are useful if you then
have to
pull
edit
out
it.
a regular 16:9 video and
Right.
maybe have the AI in the camera or in the editor help you frame the right things. Where the
Does have
action is.
AI now in the Insta 360 editor, and it does a pretty darn good job of picking the perspective and the angle to use. So yeah, I'm very pleased with it. It's quite a nice little camera. And that's probably how they got some of that footage anyway, from the deep blue explosion.
Probably.
What else in the news?
Last bit of news is we have a new color. It's called Olo.
But you can't just go out and look for it.
No, you can't. Okay, so this is a couple of weeks old, but I found it slightly funny. So scientists claim that they've discovered a new color that no one has seen before, and I guess no one will pretty much see. But the thing is, and they call it Olo, and what they did is they did some experiments and stimulated single cones in the retina with lasers in a very specific way, with pulsed lasers, in a way that our vision doesn't work that way. Okay, so when we look at something, it never happens that a single cone is stimulated. It's always a bunch of them, and then together that generates a signal that the brain interprets as a color. But by stimulating like individual cones in the retina, they say that they can, in principle, send a color signal to the brain that never occurs in natural vision, and it's more saturated than any color we could ever see. in principle. So I guess no one has really seen that color.
Well, in order to see it, you'd have to stare into a laser beam. So maybe it's not worth it. This is an approximation of the color. You know, it's interesting, though. It looks very different depending on what screen you look at it on.
Exactly. The screen will not...
You can't do it.
Again, it cannot be seen with your eye. It has to be like beamed into your retina with a laser of sorts.
It is intriguing, though, to think about how we perceive color.
I
And
mean,
I've always wondered if blue is the same to you as it is to me, you know.
I don't know that. I
does.
know that certain colors do not exist. Like yellow does not really exist.
I think magenta. I think
magenta and yellow are the two colors that are. If you look at the little pixels on your screen, they are like take a macro lens or something and look at those pixels, and you'll find red, green, and blue.
right.
There's no yellow. And if you look into the eye, we also have receptors in our eyes for red, green, and blue, and not for yellow. But if you on your screen you turn on red and green, then we'll see yellow. So the yellow is a color that only exists in our brain. It's made from other colors. Same with magenta, and that's why the whole visual system is like one of the most complex things in humans, and that's why this color. I think it's a nice headline. It's a nice clickbaity headline, but of course that is science that might lead to some advances in understanding color blindness better and so on. So I don't think it's just for fun. I think they are looking for something that this is good for. But yeah, OLO.
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 You will never see it. So don't go looking.
But you know that it might be out there.
Somewhere.
No,
there's
actually
an
not
OLO.
out there, in there.
It isn't out there. That's the whole point. It can't be out
It's
there.
not out there.
It is. It's a really interesting philosophical question, though.
It is.
Yeah, it ties back to photography because we assume that everybody sees the image that we take the same way as we see it, right? But I don't know if that's true.
Well, so on the one hand, there's the visual thing with colors that don't really exist, but that we construct, or our brain constructs, and then of course there is the content of the picture, and that is different for everyone because we all have different experiences, different conditioning. We have a backpack that has a lot of different things in it, and if I show you a picture of a building that might be of no interest to you, but it might be really important for me because something connects me to that. So that's why photography is so interesting for me.
Yeah.
Because it's not just a visual thing and making it look pretty. It also has this very cultural component that makes a picture work or makes it not work for someone. And if you find out more about that, learn more about that, then you can become a really good photographer.
I think that's why art is interesting in general. Is with art you're able to somehow translate your unique point of view in the world, your unique place in the world, in such a way that you could share it with another individual, another human, so that they can get a little bit of a glimpse of yours. And I think that that's a fascinating thing. I think it's a very human thing to want to share that. So I like
Yes,
that.
it
I
is.
think that's kind of cool. I'm trying to figure out if there's a way I can show you the image that we're getting here, but I really can't. It's got, so the way these work, it has two very wide fisheye, 180-degree fisheye lenses, one on each side of the camera, and then the camera stitches it together. And with any luck, you could do a picture that would be a full 360-degree circle. One of the things that these Insta360s do, and I think a lot, the Theta does it, a lot of 360 cameras do, is they have some magic in there that makes everything below the camera invisible. So when you look at one of my videos, my hand is like this because I'm holding the tripod, but you can't see anything else.
You know what it should be doing? It should not just remove the tripod. It should also change your, like with using AI, change your hand so it looks more relaxed and not
Maybe
like
it will in the future.
Holding onto something.
Someday it will do that. Yeah, I don't know how I could. I'm trying to project my. Oh, I could share my iPhone. I don't know. It's kind of a wild shot. Here, we can go back to the.
You can add an extra camera to Restream, I think.
I can, and I probably should, but here's the kind of the.
This looks.
And you see, my hand is empty. I don't actually have anything in my hand. This is kind of creepy. But there you go. There you have it, my friends. I don't know why I keep buying these. I bought, many models of these. It's just that they keep getting better and better and better. And I keep thinking, the last one there, this is the X5, the previous version, I took to Rome with me. And when we took a tour of the old Roman Forum, I took it with me. I just held it the whole time. And I figured, down the road with, I don't know, nerd helmets or something, I could presumably go on that walk again, hear the guide, and instead of just looking at what Leo took a picture of, look around and see everything that's around. Choose my own angle, which I think is kind of cool. So
the one thing you can choose is your own perspective in this context, because that is determined by your location.
Right.
So you can just be where the camera is and then look around.
Yeah.
But probably still very, very cool.
Yeah, that's right.
It's about time we get these nerd helmets. I think
I'm waiting until they can do a laser and beam it right into your eye. So one of the things we always do on our photo time, we always have the photography assignment. Again, it's geometric. If you just joined us, that will be a month off. Do you want to set a date now for the next episode?
Absolutely.
And then we can answer some questions from the Peanut Gallery if you'd like.
Absolutely. I have a very brief show and tell in between, but really just a very brief
I always
one.
like your show and tells. I forgot. That's another thing we do. I show and you tell, or you show
That's
and I
fine.
tell.
This one is really just a very quick one. For next date, the 13th would work. The 6th won't work for me.
Okay, let's do it. It's going to be on the 13th, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time, at the ungodly hour of 2000 or something UTC. I don't know what it is for you, but
2200.
2200 UTC. That's not too bad. You stay up a
10
little
p.m.
late for us.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Here's
let's
the
put that
show and
down. The 16th. We'll see you back.
The
Here. You
13th.
have 5. Did I say for 16th? 13th.
The
You have
13th.
5 weeks now to take your geometric pictures. Show and tell time.
Quick show and tell. And it's not this lens, but you know what a zoom lens looks like.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
You by zooming, you will like extend something. Sometimes it happens in the lens or outside the lens. What we typically don't see is what happens in the lens, as in how these like different packets of lenses move back and forth. And most people probably don't know that there are a lot of things in there moving in different directions when you zoom. So a listener gave me something straight from a lens production facility. And
how cool.
It's this cage.
What
What
is
we're looking at is it's I hope it translates on the screen. So it's a tube, metal tube.
Yeah.
It's part of the inside of a zoom lens, and it has all these channels and grooves on the outside that go up and down. And what these are is these hold the individual lens elements inside a zoom lens. So when you rotate the lens,
It
you
moves
have
them
some of them
back and
moving up
forward.
and some of them moving down.
Nice.
And some of them moving down
That's quite
steeper. This is very cool.
It has to be quite precision engineered too, right?
Definitely. This is down to fractions of a millimeter, I'm pretty sure. And it repeats the same grooves 3 times, because you will have like 3 rollers that go in these grooves from the lenses. It's just there to kind of give you an idea how
amazing.
complex the inside
Just amazing.
of a zoom lens is, because these lenses in the zoom lens don't all move at the same speed in the same directions. They will do a little dance, and this is what directs this dance, mechanically directs the dance.
Amazing.
This is a very, very
It's
cool
amazing.
little thing.
Yeah.
So next time you zoom your lens, just imagine things moving weirdly inside.
Oh, I was going to play for you. That was not what I was going to play for
Was
you.
that you with your
That was me. Paul Holder in our Discord has made us a song for the Dutch angle. Would you like to hear it? This is a AI generated song from Suno.ai. Let's hear it, Paul. Let's hear what you created here. It's got some lyrics in here too.
Standing sideways in a crooked frame, angles bending and nothing's the same. The sun's tall and low but still runs high. A wacky Dutch tilt under a painted sky. Flip-flop feet on a diagonal line.
All right, that's enough. It's a little too easy these days to make theme songs. Thank you, Paul. Paul loves playing with Suno.ai, as frankly I do. My kid the other day said, "Hey, what was the name of that AI generating site where you can make music? I want to create a hype theme for my dodgeball team." Oh no, I'm sorry, kickball team. I said, "Oh yeah," and I sent him the link. All right, you ready for some questions?
Some questions and answers. Let's start with hold on, let me bring it up. With Joel. Joel asks, we have a 5+-year-old computer with an NVIDIA RTX 4060 with 100% tariffs on the way. Is a GPU a requirement for photo editing? This machine was primarily purchased for gaming, but we play less and less recently.
That's an interesting question. Huh.
Does he need a GPU for photo editing? And the answer is no. It's not needed. I mean, GPU is in every computer, but he's looking like for a gaming GPU or something.
Yeah, some
beefy.
apps will, like Adobe Photoshop, will use it, but not for everything. Only for some filters.
If it's there, I'm pretty sure like almost all software will fall back to the CPU.
It just won't be as fast, that's all.
The user interface might be a bit slower. Some operations might be a bit slower, but in general, the GPU is not a requirement for photo editing.
Nice.
Let's see. Oh, yeah. Second question, also from Joel. Thanks for submitting. He's hung up on tariffs. Maybe it's tariffs or maybe it's been a long time since looking at new equipment, but prices are very high. When buying a used lens, do you have any general advice? Online stores like Adorama note barrel wear and lens dust or fungus. Don't you just wipe off dust? Would it affect the image much? So, first of all, buy from a reputable source. And I would say Adorama is one. So KEH.com is another one. They will typically have like ratings for quality of used gear. So there will be an excellent or like new or I don't know, different levels of quality. And when it says lens dust, that's not the dust on the outside of the lens. It's typically dust in the lens. So if you look through the barrel, you might see some dust in a lens. And that is typically not a big problem. Dust doesn't focus. Dust is where the lens doesn't focus. The focus is somewhere out there. So inside the lens, the dust will pretty much guaranteed not show up on a picture. So that's not a big issue. If it says fungus, that is fungus in the lens elements. Sometimes you will have lens elements that are glued together inside the lens for some specific optical purposes. And sometimes if that lens is being stored in a damp basement or something, there is a chance for some fungus to get into this glue and, well, eat it because it's yummy. So that's something that's virtually impossible to get out. I wouldn't buy a lens with fungus, but some dust in the barrel, not a big deal.
Yeah, you have to be careful with used lenses or really old used lenses and fungus. You're right. If you buy it from a responsible,
If you buy it from a good source, you can usually return it if it's not good.
Yeah.
So, question by Demilente.
our favorite Demilente.
Which, let's see, when using Darktable, the export function has a slider that is labeled quality. Since most images are viewed on mobile devices, is there a minimum value that you would recommend to save storage space? We follow the 3-location method, home, not home, and multi-format, but storage is getting cumbersome to deal with. Yeah, PS, we don't consider Flickr a storage location. Yeah, it's not a image storage location. It's
not full
presentation
not
location.
originals. I use SmugMug though. They, for a fee, will let you store originals on SmugMug. So some places do, I guess. Yeah.
So the quality slider on export, and by the way, Darktable is like Lightroom pretty much. Photo editor, asset manager that then you can export pictures from after editing them. And the quality slider, I assume you're exporting a JPEG. And JPEG is a lossy compression. So a JPEG's compression, you can't completely uncompress it. So you will lose some quality, and with the quality slider, you determine how much quality you want versus the size of the exported image. And that does often depend on the destination. Where is that photo going to be shown? So if you know that this photo is usually not bigger than a smartphone screen, then a lower quality is not a problem. If you send a photo off to be printed, then the higher quality is probably the better option. So I would test it with your typical mobile devices and see. I personally will typically use something around the, let's say, 70-80% mark. That seems to be a good trade-off between quality and file size. So that would be my recommendation. Start
so funny.
somewhere in the 70-80% range.
I've been getting that question for 20 years. And the answer has changed a little bit over time.
It has.
Now you can get such high resolution, right?
Yeah. But again, it's something to test out and make it dependent on the size of screen or the usage of the photo.
Right.
Here's a good one by Abdul. Asks, do you have any advice on how to start taking photos that incorporate reflections? It's something I love the look of, but I've never quite worked out. Are there best practices and things to avoid that might help? Awesome question, Abdul. Reflections are, for me, one of the most interesting things in photography, because you can add new layers and things, and that can be puddles or lakes or windows or mirrors, and even like car surfaces are great reflective surfaces. The one thing always tries to get close to the reflecting surface, like a low angle. If you shoot a reflection in a puddle, which sounds, a puddle is a dirty thing, right? But if you go really low in front of that puddle, you have like a mirror reflection in front of you almost, because if your lens is closer to the surface, this will maximize the reflection. With almost anything, it could be even a wooden table will be reflective if you are close enough to it with your lens. That's the first thing. Second thing is contrast. Reflections work really good if what is under the reflecting surface is dark. Think puddle again. If that's a puddle in a white basin of sorts, then your reflection will have to fight with that white background in that basin. If it's in a black basin or in a dark street or a dark road or something, that reflection will have more contrast. Whatever you reflect in there will have a lot more contrast. And third thing is include the real thing and the reflection. Like, let's say you're shooting a shop window and you're not shooting only what's in the shop window, but also what's reflected from the other side of the street. If you include these two things, you have a real good way to add more interest to that photo by adding a new layer of content into the same image. So that's kind of my advice. And simplify things. Try to get details out of the picture. Not too much clutter, which is easy with reflections. Definitely easy with reflections. All right. And last but not least, no, actually we have two more. Josh asked, are you aware of a product that will hide an AirTag in a camera grip or on a big lens cap? Someone broke into my apartment recently and made off with $6,000 of gear. Also thinking about 3D printing something for this. I'm sure there are AirTag holders for cameras, but I'm not using any. I have an AirTag in my photo bag, and it's kind of stashed away, so it's not easy to find in there. I think maybe 3D printing something that might be a good exercise. I don't know, Leo. Do you know any AirTag holders for camera?
I don't. I use I do two different things for my cameras. One relies on the kindness of strangers. Here, I can show you. That is a QR code. And I have one on a lot of my devices, but the QR code on the bottom of the camera, that if you scan it without giving away any information about me, allows you to text me. And it even is attached to the camera. So the text will say, hey, we got a text from somebody who's found your camera, and they have the opportunity to return the camera to you. So this is the equivalent of saying, if found.
Yeah, this assumes you have an honest finder of your camera, right?
So that's one thing I do. The other thing I do is, I think Apple's Find My network is pretty amazing. There is, though I don't buy AirTags anymore, there's a rumor there are going to be new AirTags coming out pretty soon. So you might wait for the AirTag too. But lately I've been buying Chipolos, which it's interesting because they use both the Apple AirTag network, the Find My network, and the Android Find My network. So you get the benefit for both. They're cheaper than the Apple AirTags. They have a little hole there, so you could put it on something attached to your camera bag or attached to your camera. You know, you could put it on, like a little tag that you could put on your strap. Again, it somewhat relies on the kindness of strangers because they could easily remove it and then take your camera anywhere they want. But lately I've been buying these Chipolos, and I find they really work great. They're small enough and thin enough you can put them in. I put them in my hat band and places like that. And it is a replaceable battery, just like the AirTag. They do quite well. They
cool.
don't do UWB. Somebody in the chat room's reminding me they don't do UWB, so you can't aim your phone and say you're getting closer, warmer. But you'll know roughly where your camera is.
So they use Bluetooth mainly.
Yeah,
I guess.
And actually, I think that UWB is coming, but for right now they don't. But so I have the Chipolo app and the AirTag app. And yeah, if you're worried about leaving your camera in the seat cushion of your sofa, then you might want the UWB so you can say, you're getting warmer. But I think for most of us, it's just, I have the AirTags in my luggage and stuff. It's just knowing where it is. Is it on the airplane? Is it in the, baggage handlers? Yeah. Is it in somebody else's house? Those are the most valuable things. So the Chipolos are cheaper, and they're a little more robust and a little thinner, so I have a lot of those. And I use AirTags too, but I like the Chipolos.
All right. And that was the questions.
Good
Thanks
questions.
everyone for submitting.
Good questions, all of you. It's too bad cameras don't have Find My. I think everything. I've seen some e-bikes that have Apple's Find My built into the e-bike. I think more and more things should just have that technology built in. Chipolo is one of the first third parties to support that network.
One camera that I own does have Find My.
Really? Yes, that camera.
Right?
The iPhone. A very good point. Chris Marquardt is at discoverthetopfloor.com. That's where you can go to discover those wonderful workshops that he does, including the Alsace. Well, it's not there. It's not on the website yet, but it will be. So keep an eye peeled for that.
It will be.
The Christmas markets trip, which would be a lot of fun. He also does coaching. And he has many books, including, as I mentioned, the wide-angle photography book, which I love, the film photography book, which was very expensive for me, but I love it as well. And his pictures and so forth, which are wonderful, can all be found at discoverthetopfloor.com. Anything else you want to mention, Chris?
Nope. I'm good. Thank you very much for.
Oh,
for
I
having
love
me
doing
here,
this.
and-
As you know, I'm an avid amateur photographer, and it's an opportunity. Geometric should be a lot of fun. I think we're going to get a lot of brutalist photos and things like that. It should be very
Possibly.
interesting. We know. We'll see. We don't know. And maybe even some Deutsch angles. You never
Possible
know.
too. Yeah.
You never know. Thank you, Chris Marquardt. Great to see you. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening. Thanks to all of you, and thanks especially to our Club Twit members who make these special events possible. These are for you. We do these for you. We do them. Of course, we stream them live so everybody can watch them. But if you want to watch it after the fact, you need to be in the club. These are on the Twit Plus feed. $7 a month, $84 a year. Not only supports doing content like this, but all of our content. It's now 25% of our budget. And without the club members, without your generosity, we would not be able to do what we do. So if you like what we do in general, if you like this show and any of the other shows, please go to twit.tv/clubtwit and join the club. Thank you, Chris.
Thank
See you next
you.
month. The 13th of June. June. Amazing. Summertime pictures. All right, sir.
All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Good job. Great stuff.
And I'll
June
be back
13th.
with lots of interesting, cool new things
Good.
in 5 weeks.
Good. Maybe I can figure out a way to get this 360. I'll do something. And
That's the one thing about those cameras. You have to do a lot of post-production after.
you got to edit the thing.
Yeah.
Well, I did. I took it and I walked all around the house. I thought, well, there's a chance to document all the rooms, all the house, everything. And so I did that, and that was kind of cool. But of course, it's on an iPad. I'm not paying Insta360 for storage, cloud storage.
I still have the first Theta.
Yeah, I still have all of them.
I used
This,
it.
I have to
used
say-
it 4 times,
Yeah,
5
that's the
times,
problem.
maybe.
Yeah, that was the
So
problem.
yeah, because it. Well, first of all, the image quality isn't that good, but second, it does
That's the thing
take
that's
a-
changed. I mean,
effort,
the image
yeah.
quality now, this is 4K, 60 frames, and it really looks like it. It really looks good. It's good enough. The last one, was it X1, Anthony? We
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, we did a commercial with, and it came out great. You would never know. Looked like a drone. Looked like drone shots.
Awesome.
So, yeah, as I said, I brought this to Rome. A lot of good it did me. All right.
All right.
Moin,
See
moin.
you. Next
See you
month.
later. Auf Wiedersehen, my friend.
Take
Tschüss.
care.
Tschüss. Take care,
Bye.
everybody. Bye-bye.